All right. All right. Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about stuckness. I'm going to be talking about being in that position where we feel like we're stuck in our lives and we don't know how to move forward, we don't know how to make change, we don't know why we're stuck. And I'm going to kind of look at it from a couple of different angles, from the angle of just when we're kind of, pursuing our dreams and looking to live lives that feel good for us and doing the things that we want to be doing, and we're feeling like we're stagnated, we're feeling like the progress we're trying to make isn't happening, and we don't know why, we don't know what steps we're supposed to be taking and all that stuff. So we'll look at it from that perspective. And then we'll also look at it from the perspective of like healing and being in a place where we're in pain, and it's when we're in pain and being stuck is just very painful, like physical health, mental and emotional health, life situations where it's just we're trying to make things better for ourselves and we just don't know how, and we're not sure how to navigate our way forward. I'm going to look at it from both of those two different perspectives. Okay, so this idea of being stuck in our lives, I think the number one, first, most important thing that I want to say is that being stuck in life is normal. And being stuck in life is something that is going to happen to all of us many, many, many times for our entire lives. Because a plethora of reasons, right? Like being alive is simply quite complex. Being alive and getting our needs met is very complex. Being alive and understanding how progress works and how to make progress and what is going to be required for us to move forward when we're moving into situations that we've never been in before. We're trying to get into a place of the unknown. We're trying to, right, accomplish things we've never accomplished before. We're trying to be things we've never been before. We're trying to achieve achievements we've never achieved before. It is incredibly normal and incredibly natural and incredibly something to be expected that we are going to get stuck. Because, like I said, like it's just really complex. And the technologies that we have and the understandings that we have and the awarenesses that we have and the things we have access to, all of these things play into how much progress we can be making. But at the same time, the outside world, the conditions we're living in, the communities we're around, like I say, the access of things and resources and understanding and technology that we have access to, these things also inhibit or promote our ability to grow and to progress and to change. And those things we don't always have control over. The circumstances of our lives, which again, sometimes we don't have control over those circumstances. We don't have the capacity to make change or to adjust things the way that we would want to or the way that we would like to, that would allow us to move forward. That's going to happen to all of us to lesser and greater extents for all of our lives. And that's something we just have to kind of accept about being alive, is that stuckness that we literally just can't do anything about is going to be a part of all of our lives on some level. And also, sometimes the growth that we need and the understanding that we need to step into and the just the path itself, the path that we're on, where we are trying to grow or we're trying to change or we're trying to heal or we're trying to do whatever, it just takes longer than we think it's going to. And it can look a lot to us like we are stuck, when really we are just dealing with the consequences of growth, and we are just kind of in a reality that is different than the reality than we expected, but isn't actually wrong and isn't actually being stuck. So, like I say, to think that we're ever going to get to a point in our lives where we never feel stuck again, where we always feel like we're making forward progress, where we always feel like we're in control of our forward progress, where we always feel like we can take the steps forward and do the thing and implement the thing and the thing just works and we're having all these positive results. I don't know that we're ever going to get to that place where we have that all the time. I just don't think that life works that way. So like I say, basically the very first thing that I wanted to say about feeling stuck in our lives is that it doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean that something should be happening that isn't happening. And it's not, again, something that we should be striving to never experience again in our lives, because that would be a denial of reality. So sometimes the first thing, no, okay, not sometimes, always, the first thing that I recommend when we're feeling stuck is to take a step back, take a deep breath, and find compassion for ourselves. Because again, it can be really, really challenging when we feel stuck in our lives. So again, whether it's feeling stuck moving towards a goal, moving towards something we want to achieve, moving towards growth and expansion and these things that we want to create in our lives. So that kind of like exciting growth that is fueled by the inside of us wanting to become something. When we're on that path and we're feeling stuck, and when we're on the path of trying to heal, trying to feel better, when we're stuck in a situation where, again, like we're stuck in a situation with our health, we're stuck in a situation with our mental health or our emotional health, we're stuck in a situation with our families or the people we're around that it just feels really toxic or heavy and it doesn't feel good, and it's more that we're trying to like get away from something than it is that we're trying to move towards something. We're trying to get away from something painful or we're trying to move towards something pleasurable. Understanding that when we're in that state of feeling like we're stuck, the first thing that we need always is compassion and kindness and empathy and to be validated in whatever we're feeling. Okay? So giving ourselves time to express our frustration, to express the pain that we're in, to express the fear that the pain is never going to go away and we're never going to get better and this isn't getting better and maybe it's getting worse, and all of that stuff that comes up when we're in those hard, scary, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, and this stuckness is making me feel like this pain is going to last forever. We need softness and compassion and the capacity to kind of go through that emotional catharsis as much as possible. We need that. Okay? So trying to immediately jump into problem solving or what do I need or how do I fix this or what am I doing wrong and how do I do it different and what's the next solution and what's the next thing I need and all of these things, rather than trying to jump immediately into problem solving or getting ourselves out of the problem, sometimes we just need space and we need validation in our emotional experience. We just need to be allowed to feel shitty and scared and upset and like this is not what we want. And to just have that compassionate, it's okay, it's not your fault, it's not that you're doing something wrong, it's not that you're a failure, it's not necessarily even that what we think is happening right now is that it's going to last forever, right? Part of compassion is saying to ourselves, just because I feel this way right now, and just because I felt this way for a long time or I felt this way before, doesn't mean I'm always going to feel this way. So it's completely valid that I feel this way. And I totally make room for my feelings. And I allow myself to express my feelings and to get support and help and love and external validation where I need that, while also being able to hold on to that kind of witness part that can remind us that we haven't always felt like this, that life isn't always like this, that life always changes, that things progress and we find new tools and we find new solutions and stuff happens, and that it's impossible for life to stay exactly the same how it is forever. And then I know sometimes that can make us feel like, well, then it's going to get worse. And I'm so afraid that this is going to devolve even more and then I'm going to lose whatever ground that I've gained. And like I say, it's just going to get worse and everything's going to devolve. And even in that, right, we need compassion. This is not your fault. I see you. I hear you. I know this is scary. And building that emotional muscle, because this is, I think, another huge part of ultimately becoming someone who can be a problem solver and who can do the best you can with the circumstances that you have, is that we build that muscle within ourselves to notice when we're catastrophizing, yeah, and to have compassion for that part, because the part that's catastrophizing is not a bad part. It's not a broken part. It's a part that experienced pain in the past. It's a part that's trying to protect you from all future pain by coming up with the worst case scenario and imagining all the worst things that you could possibly imagine and coming up with them to try to protect you from them by giving you the ability to predict them and see them coming, right? So we love and have compassion for this catastrophizing part of ourselves, and we make room for it, and we thank it for being there, for trying to help us. And like I say, we build this muscle of being able to say, but it's not necessarily true. I don't know that it's true that it's going to get worse. I don't know for a fact that it's true that it's never going to get better. And in fact, if I am going to stay in a position of being open to new possibilities, of being open to new solutions, of being open to seeing things where I haven't seen them before, we can build a little bit of faith in ourselves, and we can build a little bit, like I say, of that resiliency muscle, where even when we're really down and even when things are really shitty and it's really, really hard, we know how to, like I say, validate ourselves, support ourselves. We're not going into toxic positivity. We make room for the negative emotions. We make room for asking for help where we need it. And then we say, and now I'm going to be on my own side. And I'm just going to assume that I can figure out at least something, right? It may not be the perfect thing. I may not be able to find absolute healing or complete transformation or whatever it is that I'm looking for. And that's okay. So long as I'm alive, I'm going to keep looking for a little bit better. And we just hold on to that as our little light of hope. And I would just say that, like, again, I come from a background of chronic illness that I didn't even know was chronic illness, of being in a family that didn't love me or understand me, of literally the first 20 years of my life just being like continual chronic pain. And for the first 20 years of my life, I didn't really have hope that things could get better in the sense that I didn't have evidence of it. I hadn't really seen anyone get better. I hadn't seen myself get better. Life had always just gotten kind of incrementally harder and worse. But like I say, there was always just this part of me that felt like if I could understand things and if I could work to become more aware of why things were happening the way they were happening and what I could do about them, that I was going to have some power to make things better. And I always just maintained a sense of hope. But like, again, I believe that was something I worked on, and I believe it is something that we as people can work on in ourselves. I don't think that it is impossible to build hope when we are alive and when we are humans and when things have been hard and when things have been bad. Just because they have been bad historically doesn't mean that they're always going to be bad. And it doesn't mean that there's no hope for you. And it doesn't mean that there can't be goodness in your future and a little bit better. And like I say, I'm not telling anyone that this is how you should live or this is how you should think or to try to force yourself to have this perspective, because I don't think that that's healthy. And again, no one can tell you how to live your life. No one can tell you the kind of perspective you should have. And you are completely valid in whatever perspective you have right now, right? Like, when people don't have hope, and when we're in a situation where it just feels like this is the end and it's never going to get better and it's always been terrible, we have good reasons for feeling that way. We have good reasons for thinking that way. And again, the kind of double-edged sword of the catastrophizing mind is that in its attempt to protect us from threat, in its attempt to get us to think of all the horrible things that have happened and all the horrible things that could happen, it is attempting to keep us safe. But while it does that, it does create a situation where we then don't see where things have been good, and we don't see where things haven't gone as bad as they possibly could, and we don't see where things have improved and where we do have some power. So like I say, sometimes we have to work the muscle of just, I'm going to be open to the idea that there's something positive, even when we're in that like deep dark, there never has been and there never will be again. We have to start to, again, we can, I'm not saying you have to, start to look at that part and just say, okay, I see this catastrophizing part. It's a self-protective part. It's trying to keep me safe. It's highlighting all the horrible things that have happened before. It's forgetting the good things that have happened. It's telling me all the horrible things that could happen, and it's not looking for the good things that could happen. And it's not wrong and it's not bad. It's just trying to protect me. So we thank that part. We give that part lots of love. And then, like I say, we challenge ourselves a little bit to look for where things have been good in the past, where change has happened, where progress has been made, where we do have power. And like I say, it's going to be a challenge for a lot of us. I know for me, it was a challenge to look for that positive, to look for the thing that could happen, to look for where things haven't always been horrible. Yes? And we give ourselves that opportunity to build that muscle of looking for the good things, even though that's not what our catastrophizing self wants to do. We can build it, and it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun, and at first, the positive that we're going to be able to let ourselves see is going to be so small, and that's okay. So I just want to put that out there, that building that positive mindset doesn't mean we deny our pain. It doesn't mean we deny the horrible things that have happened. It doesn't mean we pretend that everything is fine when it isn't. We validate all of that. And, okay, so this is a both and situation. We make room for looking for the things that have happened that have been good. We make room for looking for the things that have worked out for us in the past. We make room for looking for where we have a little bit of power to make things a little bit better. And that's what I'm going to keep talking about later. But we hold both of these things at the same time. We become the kind of people who can recognize the catastrophizer, recognize that that's there to protect us, thank that part, but not allow that part to be all of who we are, and not to allow that part to completely consume our perspective. Okay? And that's the inner work. And it is work, it's just work. And I don't know that there's an easy way of doing it. It's just repetition. We show up for ourselves over and over again, having that compassion, witnessing the catastrophizing self, and then looking for the positive as little as we can to give ourselves some power and to give ourselves some wiggle room. Okay? Now on the other side, when it's the building the dreams and we're sad and we're feeling like this isn't moving as fast as it should, and I'm stuck and I want this thing and I don't know where I'm going and I don't know how it's going to happen and da-da-da-da-da. Again, the first step is compassion. The first step is to always say to ourselves, the path of growth and the path of becoming the things we want to become and building our dreams and creating lives for ourselves that we've never had before is going to mean we are going to get stuck multiple times. It's just going to be part of the process. Even in healing and all of these things. When we're trying to heal into someone we've never been before, we're going to get stuck because we don't know the territory. And I think that, again, especially in self-help and personal growth and spirituality, we're constantly being told that someone can tell us and someone can sell to us the journey. That they can tell us, like, I am where you want to go, or I know how to get to where you want to go. And therefore, buy my course and buy my program or whatever, and I can give you all of the answers for all of the steps that it's going to take so that you just follow the roadmap and become the thing you want to become or have the thing you want to have. And again, to a degree, people who have gone before us, people who have accomplished the things that we want to accomplish, people who have healed in the ways that we want to heal and all these things, probably do have tools and maps and guidance that they can offer. And so we do, again, we listen to people and we learn from people, and where people are experts, we take their opinion into account, and that's important and that's awesome. But we don't want to assume that that is then going to be enough, that we are never going to get stuck again, that we're never going to face our wilderness, our dark nights of the soul, our having no idea what's going on, our moments of just like soul crushing limiting belief. That stuff is still going to happen. And so long as we make room for the idea that I am walking new territory, I am moving into something I have never moved into before. And even if I am moving into something that I have never moved into before but other people have, it's still the first time I'm doing it. It's still not totally, but it's still new territory to a degree, which means I don't have the map for it. And we all know, right? If any of us have ever taken a hike or driven somewhere we've never been before, even if you have a map, the likelihood that something is going to come up that you didn't expect, that you're going to take a couple of wrong turns because you've never been there before and you've never done this before, the fact that challenges that aren't on the map are going to be there. There's a new boulder, there's a new snake, right? Like all of these things can't be made into a map because nature changes, our path changes, life changes. We are going to get stuck. And like I say, the first thing we have to give ourselves is compassion and understanding that this is normal. It is normal to get stuck. It is normal to not know where you're going or what your next step is going to be. It is normal to think you had the path and then be on it and be like, holy shit, this is so much more overwhelming or confusing, or I don't know what I'm doing than I thought it was going to be. We're going to have the best of intentions. I'm going to start this blog and I'm going to write every day and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and we have this whole vision. And then when we start doing it, it's like way harder than we thought, or managing that and managing our lives is really difficult, and finding a new routine is hard, and we just feel stagnant and stuck. That is normal. That is the normal process of becoming something we've never been before and going somewhere we've never been before. So that first step, again, when we're feeling stuck in building our dreams and going forward, compassion for ourselves. Understanding that this is what life looks like sometimes. That this is normal. That all of the people you admire and who have accomplished great things and who have become the things that you want to become, or just become great things, they have spent years of their life stuck. I guarantee you. They have spent years of their life just trying to build the foundational, fundamental steps of whatever they're trying to do into their life. They have spent years, even the people who have healed and transformed themselves, most of them, if they've really done something big, have spent years experimenting with their diet, experimenting with their protocols, trying this and trying that and doing this and doing that, and not seeing progress and not having things move forward and moving back. And they have laid in bed at night and wondered if there's ever going to be a step forward, or if they're ever going to get out of this, or if it's ever going to be okay. It's normal. It's part of the path. We all face it. The wilderness is part of the path. The I don't know what I'm doing is part of the path. And then this very important key. So much of the time, progress and change in healing and evolving ourselves, or like getting away from a thing that we really don't want, or building a thing that we really do want, is mundane, over and over repetitive action where we're just building those foundations, those small muscles, that we're figuring out the routine, we're figuring out the things that work, so that we can then do them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for extended periods of time, and then it works. Meaning, sometimes when we think that we're stuck, what we're really saying is, I feel like I should be getting better and faster results than the ones that I'm getting. And we're not actually stuck. We're just getting results the way that they are actually gotten. So much of healing and changing and growing and becoming what you want to become is not the Oscar moment, is not all the symptoms going away, is not the accomplishment of the thing. So much of getting there is little daily habits that we do over and over and over and over and over again, that are boring, that don't show quick results, that don't really show results at all in the beginning. But we can kind of just feel that this is probably what we need to be doing. It feels good on some level. That's what it looks like. It's boring and it's slow, and it's just doing those foundational things over and over and over and over and over again over time. So this second step. So the first step is compassion for ourselves, validation, and then continue to have hope. The second step is to evaluate if we're actually stuck, or if we are just expecting progress because the world has told us this is how progress is supposed to happen, or because we would like it to happen in this way or whatever, that isn't in alignment with real reality. Because again, like I said, sometimes, most of the time, real reality of change and progress and healing is setting up foundations and then doing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again without really seeing results for a while. That is the second step. We have to be able to become aware that, right? On our Instagram, social media, clickbait, instant gratification life that we live, a lot of people are selling us quick, easy solution. This is what it looks like to become something amazing. And we're used to seeing people who are at the last 10% of their journey before they heal, before they figure out, they become great, whatever. And we think, look, I saw them a year ago and now they're like so different. And we didn't see the 7 years before that, where they were trying things and doing things and failing and nothing was going how they thought it was going to go, or where they were just doing their thing over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually we see the outcome. The outcome came, but not because of the last year of things they did. The outcome came because of the 7 years or the 10 years or the 20 years of experimenting and figuring out and laying down foundations and routines and doing the same things over and over and over again, and showing up and building the muscle and doing what they could do that day and living the rest of their day in the normal mundanity of regular life. So that's the second step. Are you really stuck? Or is it just that this is the part of the journey where you just have to have discipline to do the thing over and over and over again, and progress is going to come because of time and energy? It's not that you're doing something wrong, and it's not that you're actually stuck, right? When you are doing all you know to do, and you can see that there's like something there. It's not huge, it's not changing your life completely, it's not getting you out of your mess immediately, it's not getting you to where you want to go right now. But you can see the person I need to become, who can maintain the dream that I have, is a person who's consistent with their creation, is a person who's consistent with their showing up, is a person who's consistent with whatever. And to build the foundations where you can be the kind of person who can do that takes time. And so maybe your next steps are just this over and over and over again. Sometimes on the healing path, same thing. We've figured out the thing we're going to do. Like we're feeling like we're getting a little bit. We feel a little bit of progress. We feel a little bit better. We feel a little bit on our good days. Our good days are a little bit better than they've been before. There's something inside of us that says, okay, this is the path for now. We just do it over and over and over and over and over again. And we let time do its work. We let repetition do its work. Sometimes we're not stuck. Sometimes we're just in the phase where we need to build the muscles, where we need to do the foundational thing over and over and over again, where it's just slow, like that seed that's planted and you can't see it, but it's sprouting under the earth, it's doing its thing, the shoot is growing, but you can't see it on the surface, everything just looks like it's the same thing over and over and again and nothing's happening. And then eventually there's that moment where all of that culminates and we're like, oh, I totally up-leveled or whatever it was. And it was because we spent all that time just doing the mundane, repetitive, over and over building stage. So that's the second thing. Sometimes we're not actually stuck. Sometimes it's just, this is what we have to do, and it's now time. It's just time and repetition. And knowing that, right, we increase our proficiency and we increase our capacity and we increase what we know as we repeatedly do our thing. So we find our foundations. This is the path I'm on. These are the tools that appear to make some difference in the moment. I'm just going to do them over and over and over again. We find I'm building my thing, and I'm building myself to become the kind of person who can have what I want. And now it's just time. Now I just need the refining fire of discipline, of doing it over and over again, of building that thing, right? Like, I'm at a point right now where I can put out a blog every week, a video every week, right? Like, I'm very consistent with my content creation, and that's because I built that muscle. I forced myself to sit and write. For years, I forced myself to sit and write, to become the kind of person who was going to make content on a regular basis. And that was, again, a goal that was important to me. So that's my third thing that I want to say. When we're feeling stuck, it's always a good time to take a step back and reevaluate if the thing that we're going for really still matters to us. When we get into a place where we feel stuck and stagnant, it's a great time to take a step back and say, okay, this thing that I'm going for, this healing, this growth, whatever, this dream, is it still what I want? Do I still want to walk the path the way that I'm walking the path? What are the things that I have in my life right now that feel supportive of this thing? And what are the things I have in my life that don't feel supportive? Does this path that I'm on align with the values that I have? Especially with the dream thing. Is this still who I am? Is this still who I want to become? If this path that I'm on, when all the fun has worn away and all the excitement and the passion of the first idea and the inspiration and the motivational speaking and all that stuff has worn off, and now I'm just in the boring, kind of shitty, this is just this over and over and over again, do I still want it? Is this still important to me? Is this still something that I value when I'm in the reality of it? It's a great time to ask ourselves that. It's a great time to say, okay, if it is, where can I start to look at my life in general, in the broader context, to make sure that I'm prioritizing the things that support this goal? And where can I start to get rid of some of the things that I have in my life right now that don't support this, that don't align with what I value, that don't align with what I care about, and it's kind of distracting me? And then in the healing, again, it's really reevaluate our tools. Are these tools feeling good for me right now? Do they support me in this moment? Or is it all a promise of a future outcome that doesn't actually feel good right now? Are my tools stimulating me but not healing me? And this is a really big, really important reevaluation question to ask ourselves when we're healing, especially in the world today where so many of the tools that are being offered are stimulation tools to make us feel like something's happening in the moment, but they're not actually healing us. They're causing a nervous system freak out, and then a crash, and then a freak out and a crash. And we think that the freak out is the healing, and we think the crash is us failing at the tool. No. We really want to take a step back and say, are my healing tools something I can consistently show up to that consistently gives me stable results in the moment and don't lead to a crash? Okay? Be very aware. When we're healing, we're going to crash. It's okay to crash. We're going to have days and times where it's just like everything is too much and life is overwhelming and we can't do it. And we get overwhelmed with pain and we get overwhelmed with overwhelm. That's normal. But if the tools that you're using are, number one, asking so much of you that they are becoming a new thing that overwhelms you, we need to reevaluate that, right? If the protocol is so strict and so narrow and you don't get to live a life at all, like the life that you can live, you can't, it's probably not healing you. And I know that sometimes when we make our whole life about healing and our healing protocol, and that's just what we do with all of our time, it feels empowering and we feel like that's a good thing. But sometimes, again, that comes at the detriment of our healing. So does your tool make room for you to have a life outside of your healing stuff? Does your tool allow you to feel more regenerated and filled up and ready to go versus draining you and costing you energy or stimulating you so that you crash? Are your tools doable and livable and comfortable parts of your routine? And if not, the tools are failing you. You are not failing the tools. Because all of us have lives where we have stuff going on and we're busy and we can't do these perfect healing regimes all the time. So if your healing modality requires a perfect you showing up to a perfect routine and it's stressing you out, it's not the tool for you, or it's the tool for you, but you augment it to fit your life. Are your healing tools regenerating you in the moment? Are they actually giving you energy? Are they actually giving you a feeling of calm and relaxation? Are they nourishing you right here, right now? And if not, reevaluate. You are not failing the tool. You are not doing a bad job. The tool is failing you, and you need something better and different, or to change it in some way to fit your lifestyle. Okay? The floor should always come to you. Your healing modality should always come to you, meet you where you are at. It should not be about you trying to strive to be at a place that you're not, and it should not be stimulating you so that you crash. Okay? So be realistic. Reevaluate the tools that you're using. Really take time when you're in that stuck place to say, are these things serving me right now? Even just a little bit. Because again, there are going to be some things like, right, we're going to show up for our meditation sometimes for weeks and it's just going to be shitty and we hate it. But it's helping us to develop a mindset. It's helping us to build muscle. It's mental muscle to witness and to observe and to see that things can feel shitty and that we can do it anyways and all that stuff. But like I say, there's value in that. We should be able to see the value like right here, right now. Yes, there's long-term value, but there should be value in it now too. So if it's all promise for the future and nothing to do with right now, reevaluate it. If it only stimulates you and then you crash and you think you're failing or it's a lack of the tool, that's not it. If it's not nourishing you right here, right now, reevaluate. Don't force yourself to keep doing tools that aren't working. Okay? So that's the third thing. So number 1, compassion. Number 2, are you really stuck or is this just time and this is just what the path looks like? Number 3, reevaluate your tools and reevaluate your values. When we're in that stuck place, it's a great time to reevaluate. Are the things that I'm doing actually supporting me? Where do I need some catharsis? Like sometimes when we're in that stuck place, we need an emotional release. We need to let ourselves be upset. We need to let ourselves witness all the work that we've already done. Okay, so that's my step 4. Look at the progress you've made. Validate yourself in the progress that has happened. Really work your muscles of focusing your perception and focusing your sight on what is good and what is working and what has occurred. Let yourself focus on the good stuff, because this is vital in healing and in getting to dreams, because there's always going to be a reason to give up. There's always going to be someone there telling you that you can't. There's always going to be challenges that we've never faced before, that we don't know how to work through. There's always going to be that unknown. There's always going to be those dark nights where we have no idea what's going on and we're scared and it's hard. That is always going to be a part of this. So when those things happen to you, understand you're not doing anything wrong. You're a human with a normal human nervous system and a normal human mind. And when things are hard and it's shitty, that is going to happen. You're going to feel this way. So what do we do when we feel that way, right? How do we set up new safety measures, kind of safety nets, to hold ourselves when we get to this place? Understanding we are going to get discouraged. We are going to have times where it feels hopeless and we feel lost and it feels like it's never going to happen. And we want to develop tools to help ourselves open and become curious and expansive in that time, instead of allowing it to be something that shuts us down. So when we practice looking for the good that has occurred, we practice looking for the progress that has occurred, we practice that positive mindset. Not that we deny the pain or we deny what's not working or we deny any of that, right? We are going to reevaluate. We're going to get honest. We're going to validate all of that stuff. And we say, okay, what are my expectations? Where am I expecting my next answer to come from? What am I expecting it's going to look like? What am I saying? This is what the path is and this is what the path has to look like. we start to evaluate what our expectations are right now, because a lot of the time we get stuck not because the step ahead of us doesn't exist, not because we can't take it, not because it's hidden from us in some way, but because we're not seeing it, because it's not what we're expecting. So whenever we're in a place where we're genuinely stuck and we've done all the other steps, it's a really, really, really healthy thing for us to do, to ask ourselves, okay, what am I expecting the road is supposed to look like? What am I expecting the next step is supposed to be? What am I expecting the form my next step is supposed to take? And we start to look that we even have an expectation, because a lot of us don't think we have an expectation. But we're on a healing journey, and we're so in the diet realm and the food and that we're expecting that our next healing step is going to come in the form of food and diet and this, when really our next steps are going to be nervous system stuff, or leaving a relationship, or finding a new job. You see what I'm saying? And we're stuck because we're micro focusing on one area of our lives and continuing to micro focus on one thing that has given us some forward momentum in the past. But then we're neglecting all these other areas of life that are where our next steps are actually going to come from. Right? So then when we're going for our dreams, we might be expecting that the next thing that's supposed to happen is I have 1 million followers on Instagram, or I'm supposed to be the keynote speaker for something, or I'm supposed to do this, and the next step is going to look like this. When really, the next step that you're supposed to take is taking a course, becoming certified in something, deepening your own work, literally not doing something for other people, but doing some therapy or healing or growth for yourself. Sometimes the next step is just more of what I'm already doing. And we're expecting it to be something, and therefore we're not seeing what the next step actually is. And then we get to that place where we're all freaking out and we're crashing and it feels like nothing is working, and we get to that dark moment of oh my God, I can't do it. And that's when we want to shut down, and that's when we want to do what we've been doing harder, right? So we notice that when we're feeling stuck, the number one thing we want to do is go harder on the things we're already doing, is to narrow our vision even more, to get even more specific about what we should be doing. And the actual answer is that we need to broaden our perspective. We need to let go of our expectation of what the next step is supposed to be by first looking at what our expectation is, and then really asking ourselves, could there be something else? And this, again, is one of these kind of mental mind tricks that I think is really important for us to practice. That the act of opening your consciousness to something that you're not expecting, to a different answer, to a new answer, to seeing these next steps that aren't in that little box of what you have been doing up until now or where you've been working up until now. It's a continual process of just saying, okay, I'm making a mental decision to open my perspective and to look to other things. And then throughout your day, to just be aware, throughout your day, be aware of the little things that trigger a sensation in your body. To look for the little things that your mind might slough off as that's not important, I don't care about that, whatever. Because it's not my thing. It's not my expertise. It's not diet. It's not me getting more followers. It's not me doing this. right? Our minds are all focused on that stuff. We start to say, okay, I'm on my social media, I'm looking at it, and someone says something about, like I say, this nervous system work, or about this certification program, or about this or whatever. And there's something in me that like perked up at that. Pay attention. Right? The mind is going to go, well, that's not it. That's not diet. That's not getting followers. But your body had a reaction. There was a something in you. Again, pay attention to that. Start to pay attention to the little things that your body is reacting to. There's a little ting in your head, and follow it. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to actually do that certification program. It doesn't necessarily mean that that thing that you saw was it, but it might lead you somewhere. Actually follow up and follow through with the things that cause that spark in you that are different from what you've been doing. There's that super cliche saying, right? If we want something we've never had, we have to do something we've never done. Sometimes when we're stuck, it's because we need to expand. We need to expand our understanding. We need to expand our awareness. The modality that we've been using to make progress up till now, we've reached the end of where that's going to help us. We're at the place where we've done all we need to do with that now, and we're just doing that over and over and over again. Or we've reached progress for now. Maybe there will be another diet step in the future, but that's not what we're doing now. Now it's about nervous system stuff. Now it's about leaving the relationship. Now it's about studying. And again, knowing that our minds are going to want to repeat what we've always done. They're going to want to stay in the box that we're in, because that's where we're comfortable, and that's where it's familiar, and that's where we feel like we have power. But oftentimes, the thing that we really need is outside what we're already doing. Otherwise, what we were doing right now would be it. So again, really evaluate for the first time. What are my expectations? What is the box of reality that I'm expecting my next step to take, that I've been maybe like beating my head against this brick wall over and over and over again, right? I've tried all the diet stuff, and I just keep looking for diet and looking for diet and looking for diet and looking for diet, and it's not working anymore. I'm continually trying to build followers, and it's just not happening. So that's where we look at that and we say, okay, maybe that's not my next step. Maybe it's not working because that's not what it is. And I need to expand into something else instead of continually trying to force this thing to be the thing. If the thing that you're doing isn't the thing, isn't what's actually taking you forward anymore, it's not going to. So again, I know this can be tricky, right? Is it just that this thing needs time? Or do I need a new thing? Well, again, a lot of the time when we're adding the next step, we're not getting rid of the diet stuff we have figured out. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to quit the diet things that are actually working. You're going to keep with the foundations that you've built in the diet. You're going to have that. You're going to let that be what's working to a degree. And then you're going to keep that and add the nervous system stuff. You're just not going to keep looking for more different diet stuff. You've got the followers you've got. You know there's like consistent things you can do to build that following, and it's just slow. Keep doing that. But then look for something else as your next step that's not focused on building followers. You have that. You're doing that. Keep doing that. Now, what else? Now, the certification. Now, the leaving of the relationship. Now, the studying something. You see? We keep what's working, but we don't keep looking in that area for the next step to be another thing that we add to that box. So it's not more diet stuff. It's not more follower stuff. It's a different step. It's a different tool. Okay? So those are my 4 tips for what to do when we're feeling stuck. Number 1, compassion and validation. Processing. Asking for support and help. When it hurts, it hurts. If it sucks, it sucks. Have your emotional catharsis. Yeah? Compassion, compassion, compassion. Second thing, are you actually stuck? Are you actually stuck? Or is this just a muscle building time? Is this just about learning to have the stamina and the maintenance to do the things that need to be done to build the dream or to heal or to do whatever we're doing? Number 3, reevaluate. Are these still my goals? Does this still matter to me? Do I still want to do this? And it's okay if the answer is no. And now that I'm seeing what it actually takes to build this thing, do I want to do this? This is what the day-to-day looks like, right? The dream is the thing, the shiny carrot on the stick. But is this the life I want to live? And then in the healing, evaluate your tools. Are they actually working? Are they actually supporting you? Are they giving you what you need? Are they just stimulating you? And then number 4, expand your perspective. Work that muscle of having that kind of what they call a growth mindset. Really get yourself to look for where things have worked and have changed and have grown and you have figured it out. And then start to ask yourself, what are my expectations of the next steps, of what the next steps are supposed to be? And can I expand beyond that? Is it that I have my foundations in these areas that I've built and now I need new foundations in new different areas? Do I have to do something I've never done before to get something I've never had before? Really start to explore where there might be more that we're not seeing somewhere else. Yeah? Because that is super huge. Have that growth mindset of curiosity and expansion when we're stuck, instead of shutting down or doing what we're doing more. That's the biggest thing. I'm stuck, so what am I not seeing? What other area of my life can I address? Where can I expand beyond the box that I've been in? Instead of doing what I've always done and trying to look for more of that, what's the more outside of that box that I haven't been looking at? Okay? So hopefully that was helpful. Give that a try. Let me know what you think. As always, have a fantastic day, week, month, whatever it is, till I see you again. And until then,